to the Gambia, and it's like I am mainstreaming myself because I don't see much difference between the women, the men. The first time when I came out in the morning, when I saw the person waiting for me to bring me here, I thought, he's wearing, I thought maybe it's a coincidence. I didn't talk. But when I came, I saw everybody wearing this hair. I said, oh, it's not a coincidence, I'm in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Well, we're going to have to look at the Nigerian case study in terms of what we are doing to the social registry, and the interoperability and then the integration, particularly the integration of the registry with the national ID. We cannot talk about the registry without having a hint, at least an overview of what we do that took us to where we are today as regards the development of the National Social Register in Nigeria. And you can see we have the National Social Register and we have the state social registers. This is not by any means a coincidence, but we have 36 states and Abuja FCT 37. And each of the states is having its own state social register. And it is the aggregation of all the 36 and FCTs register that forms the National Social Register. So you can see the actual implementation and development of the register is at the state level and then at the local government level, because all the actors, the enumerators, the community-based targeting team are all government staff, and all those that work in the state to build the state social registry at the state level, we call it the State Operation Coordinating Unit, are also government staff deployed to the project. So it's one of the most cost-saving and effective program for the government, because government doesn't pay overhead to all additional personnel cost for all of us that work at the national, subnational, and even at the local government level. Because all of us are deployed. We are already government staff deployed to this project to work. So we maintain our levels, we go back to our organizations for our promotions and what have you. But it's only the schedule that has changed. So this is the content. We will talk about the National Social Register, the building process, harmonization of the NSR, and then if I say NSR, I know, okay, so, and then the summary, then we look at the social register usage, strengthening the social register, benefit of the NIN integration, and then progress in NIN integration with NSR, and we look at evolution and achievements, then the key achievements, then next steps. So the objectives of my coming here is to raise awareness about the National Social Register among key policy makers and stakeholders in social protection at the national and then international level, and then showcase the NSR potential as a powerful tool for poverty reduction, and then update international stakeholders on the NSR update and the NIN integration initiatives in Nigeria. Well, this is the social register. The National Social Register, I'm not lecturing you, but you know, it's a tool designed to identify and register poor and vulnerable population, just as a background and their socio-economic profile, because I have my teachers like the DG here who you know, can tell me more on National Social Register, but as a background, you know, you have to now lay the foundation. So their socio-economic profile to inform from poor policies and manage social programs in an integrated way. Household records, assets, dwelling unit, locations, and then at the individual level, we have the identification, education, demography, health, economic activities, and social groups. So you can see the data in the social register are divided into two. We collect data at the household level, and then we collect data at individual levels. So as I said, these are some important points about the National Social Register. The National Social Register is an aggregate of all the state social registers. And in Nigeria, we have 36 states and the FCT, which is the federal capital, Abuja. So we have 37 social registers. And then the socio-economic data is used to categorize household based on level of poverty using statistical analysis. And this morning, I think my brother from the NAFA, is it NAFA? Yes, I've talked about the proxy mean test and then score. This is just a selection criteria for the cash transfer, where households are aggregated into 10 deciles. In Nigeria, for the cash transfer, initially when we started in 2016 to 2022, we operated what we call the NAPS project. The NAPS project was targeted for 1 to 6 decile, and then it's intended to cover 2 million households. But for the NAPS SU now, the government and in the design, and the World Bank in the design now extended the decile from 1 to 8 deciles. So everybody that falls between 1 to 8 decile as a criteria is to benefit from the NAPS SU cash transfer. Then different programs can use the NSR to select specific poor, vulnerable households based on program-defined eligibility criteria. So cash transfer is just one, and over time we realize there are some demands from other programs in utilizing both from the private, and then the donor partners wanted to use the register. But this, when they come with their eligibility criteria to mine the register. So as you can see, this is our building process. Just like what the NAFA program said, we started by the poverty mapping. The poverty mapping is just for us to know, aggregate which are the poorest states, and then within the state, which are the poorest local governments, which are the poorest communities, so that it will give us a starting point, an entry point. So for us, our roll-out plan was 30, the most deprived local states, and then, local governments, then 30, 20, and 50. That is the rollout plan. We started with 30, the most deprived local government within the state, then we roll out to 20, and then the remaining 50. Incidentally, unfortunately for us, the design of the project was to cover 24 states, and then the targeted household for the entire register is 5 million. But I tell you, by the end of 2022, we are able to cover the 36 states and the 36 states in the federal and FCT, and then we are able to cover about all the local government areas, because we have 774 local governments in Nigeria. So this, sorry, I'm going back. Okay, so I don't want to bother you much. We have two targeting mechanisms that we use in building the National Social Register. The first on top there was what we started with. That is the community-based targeting. The community-based targeting starts with the poverty map that I tell you, pre-sensitization, sensitization and mobilization, and then community engagement. The community engagement, there is where the communities now define poverty within the context of their community, and then go ahead to select who is poor within the community. And there then they develop a list, and the harmonized list is what the enumerators now use to go house in house to bring them into the social register. And our data points have about 138. Just like I told you, between households and individuals, we are collecting 138, variables. So After that, the enumerators using CAPI, with the checklist is uploaded or the form is uploaded in the tabs, and then they go and then collect the data. And the data first hit the state MIS system. That's where the first cleaning is done. And at the state level, that is, we have the state MIS checks where we have our checks on the data. For those that are good and meet our requirement, we'll go further to the federal. But for those that do not meet the requirement, even if it means taking them back to the enumerators will have to go and retake them and what have you. Then the ones that pass to the federal level, where it will also be cleaned by the federal team, the MIS team. So it is through the server that they download and then use Starter, but now we have graduated to Postgres SLA. Is it? Somebody's, I'm now turning into an administrator. These technical packages, Starter, Postgres. Anybody knows that? Yeah. So we are now into Postgres. We are using Postgres for our MIS system. And then we also have some checks. We have the grievance redress mechanism at the state level. We also have the M&E process also at the state level. And then we have back check. Our data is being back checked. We have a protocol, a tool by the M&E where once the data reach certain percentage, they take the data, go back to the field, and then recheck and see if what the enumerators are doing is correct, or does it mean the enumerators are just sitting in one place calling people to come and register. All that will be shown when they go back to back check. And the same thing happened at the federal level. So when COVID hit, we realized in 2020 that all our data in the NSR are from the rural areas. What do we do now? So the government is asking our office, hey, NASCO, now that you say you people are technical, this is what is happening. Everybody is locked at home, and we want to give transfer to them. What do we do? So we have to go back to the drawing table and then develop what we call the technology-based targeting. This technology-based targeting was geographical selection of AG, most poor LG within the urban areas, urban slums and what have you, with high resolution poverty maps. And then the second stage is we now use the mobile phones to send text to locations. So people will have the text and then they now self-registered, and then the registration does not end there. We have to follow up. At the course of that, we are able to register about 7 million individuals. And then out of the 7 million, we are able to go for in-person validation with, relaxation from the government. We are able to move, and then we are able to bring in about 2.7 households, individuals into the data set. And then the data cleaning and what have you, then it's added to the social register. So this is additional targeting mechanism. Apart from the community-based targeting, the technology-based targeting is a shock response targeting mechanism that is there for the government to activate at any point there is, emergencies or shocks. But it also have its limitations. So we have to now look at how we can diversify. And there are new things that we are doing. In addition to, what we did was we harmonized the two registers. So instead of having the rapid response register for the shocks for which we developed during COVID, and then the NSR register, we now harmonize the two registers. And then we have what we call the NSR numbers. The NSR numbers initially were unique identifiers for households and then for individuals within the household. Before now, it is alphanumeric. But what we did now, we codify it to 9-digit numeric numbers so that it can be, you have the capability of interoperability with other database. Because if you look at your national ID numbers and all other, some similar database, all the numbers like your account numbers are all, numeric numbers. So we have to go in line with the global standard by making the NSR NID numbers to be alphanumeric. And then the second thing we are doing now is the data update. So we are updating the National Social Register presently. So these are the processes, and then this is the summary of the status of our social register as of today. We have about 19,708,500 households. And then in terms of individual, we have over 70,901,460 individuals in the registry. And in terms of communities, we have over 290 communities presently in the social register. And the wards level, we have electoral wards. We have over 8,000 wards. Just like I tell you, we are in 774 local government areas. That is logically, we are in 774, but technically we are in 771. Let me explain how. If you go to Borno State, because of the insurgency, Boko Haram attack and what have you, there are 3 local governments that were relocated from their main local government, and they are resident in one local government. So if you go to take their GPS, they will still read Marte in Mongono, Mongono in Mongono, isn't it? So technically, we have 771. But when I am talking to, this is a combination of technical and policy makers. So when I am talking to policy makers, I always go with that, so that one senator will not say, my local government is excluded. So, but when I'm talking to technical people like the DG, if it is a technical and Madam from ECOWAS, I'll always come with 771 because I will not be queried. No, but the political economic question will not come in here. They would understand what I am saying. But if I tell the senator from one of these local government that he will say, everybody will be looking, whose local government is missing? Head of register, tell me who's. I hope it's not my own or the governor's register, local government. So we have to be also technical and political in our presentations. So these are the social registry users. Just like I told you, the intention was just to serve the cash transfer of government. But over time, we realize other users come to mine from the register. So this made us to develop what we call data mining protocols. So, we are dealing with people that we have to we have to operate within the data privacy law and security of the country. So before we give you access through API or whatever other means you want to mine the register, you have to undergo all these our protocols. So you can see number 7, over 21 state level. All these are federal, from 1 to 6, then 8 to 11 are all federal. But this number 7, over 21 state level, interventions at the state level are happening using the register. That means they don't come to the national to mine. They mine from the individual registers at the state level for their intervention. And then the design of NAPS SU, the scale-up was just to cover 10.2 households. But as a matter of fact, the federal government came with a policy. They say, yes, we know the coverage is 10.2, but we want to scale it up. Now we are targeting 50 million households. And then the transfer value for the cash transfer was 5,000. The federal government says, no, give them 25,000. And then the duration for the NAPS SU was 6 months. They said, no, we are giving them 25,000 for 3 months. That means we are giving them 75,000 as a package. But here, you see, it's only 60,000. But there is an additional 15,000 to each of the households by design of the federal government. And the duration was shortened because if you lengthen the duration, maybe the package is small, maybe the impact may not be felt. So in its wide decision, the federal government felt, let's shorten the duration of the transfer and then add the value. So strengthening the NSR, just like I told you, we are now working under a presidential directive, which says that all households must be linked with national ID number and then all household benefit must go directly to accounts, no cash outs. So we are tasked with developing a system where we will integrate NIN to the 19 million households. But for now, we are targeting the 15 million. But we are working on the 15 million, but our target is the 19 million. You know how dynamic the households or communities can be. You can go to a community, particularly in areas like ours where there is insurgency and what have you. You can go to a house, you can go to a community, you can see the entire community is not there, they are in the IDP camps. Or just like the example I gave you, an entire local government is not in the local government, they are in one other local government. So there's displacements and what have you. And then even the dynamics within the households. One can be transferred, or one can decide and say, no, I'm not staying again in this community, I'm moving back to my hometown. Or maybe he has retired. He may leave the household, but during the CBT process, he might have been captured. But when you go back, you will see that he's not there. So if you target the 15 million directly, you may miss. So due to the dynamics, we are targeting the 19 million in our NIN integration drive now. So just like I told you, this is a directive by the president to, for NAPS now to cover 15 million, and we have to integrate. So leveraging of the Mr. President directive, what we are doing currently is updating and then integrating the NSR with NIN through household NIN harvest and then individual NIN enrollment. This household NIN harvest means we developed, using Kobo Collect, a tool, a harvest tool. The tool is now administered onto the copy of the enumerators. They go back to the same household and then update the records. But sometimes, particularly in the rural areas, if you go, you meet some household or individuals that don't have NIN. Does it mean you will exclude them? Then if we meet a household that does not have NIN, it doesn't mean we will not update the household. We will still update the household, but we will referral. That's where the referral will come. Refer them to now enrollment. So what we do as an initiative was to now sign an MOU with the National Identity Management Commission, and then they now train our SOCUs, those state-level enumerators, as agents. And then the federal government bought about 1,000 enrollment machines. So instead of the communities going to scout for where to do the register, they now go to the communities for the registration. But after some time, we realized that we have a lot of gap. Nigeria is very big. The population is big, about 19 million and 15 million households. It is too big. So they are not servicing. And we have 774. With 1,000, it means one enrollment machine per local government. It's not enough. So what we did was, already NIMSI have front-end partners, agents that are working for them, registering. They will see them with umbrellas, sitting down, waiting for people to come. Now, what we did was we invited the big ones and say, okay, if you know you have the capacity, come. Here is a low-hanging fruit for you. The low-hanging fruit is for you to go to the communities. NIMSI will pay you for the enrollment, and we will have a little incentive for you for the disturbing you, leaving your comfort zone to go to the communities and do the registration. And this is what these people are doing. So we are using the referral method. We are harvesting the existing NIN using our own structure and system. And then we are making referral to those individuals that do not have NIN. Referral here doesn't mean for them to go. We are even bringing it to their doorstep. We are bringing the registration to their doorstep. So these are the initiatives we are currently using in Nigeria. And these are the benefits of the NIN integration. It provides a distinct identifier that accurately distinguishes individuals, minimize error and duplications, and then it improves data accuracy and integrity. It enhances security and authentication. It facilitates efficient data management and analysis. It supports transparency and accountability. So you will know who you are paying. And then just these 9 digits have a lot embedded in it. It has the biometric of the person, it has the pictures, it has the name, it has, so many informations, that demographic informations, that if you want to put it on your server, I advise you, DG, don't try putting pictures, all these biometrics on your server or your MIS if you create. Go and make a pact with your national identity management. They already have the big servers. All you need is just the 9 digits. If you put it there, you are saved. You don't need to be putting all these pictures, to some extent, including account numbers, maybe there. I'm not sure in Ghana, Gambia, but in Nigeria, they don't put the account numbers. But if you are left with battling with account number, it will be more easier for your system. You know how space are expensive now. And we are talking about benefits to the beneficiaries to minimize the cost for, governance in terms of administration and what have you. If you started paying for spaces and what have you, you chop from the beneficiaries' money. So this is a static progress in our NIN integration. So here now, this thing is not working. Where do I? It's not. Okay, it's working. Oh, I think it's working. It's working, but it's me that is not working. So, I better leave it. Let me not confuse the audience, please. So what I'm saying here, you see, this is the household update. This 8.538966 is showing the number of visits, not the number of NIN, but the number of visits by the enumerators to the households. So now, as at yesterday night when I downloaded this, or when they sent this, we have visited, out of the 19 million, we are able to visit 8,538,966 households. That means we are able to update about 137 variables, because NIN may or may not be there. I tell you initially, why? Ask me. Because the NIN may or may not be there, because if you go, you can harvest or you can refer them for enrollment. So, but this data is not telling me how many is enrolled, how many is validated. But there, you can see, this my clever data analyst, see what they did to me here. They put 8 million plus. Out of this 855, they say 800, that means we have over 8 million households that have NIN. That is what is saying there. Total NIN, verified or validated by NIMSI. That means these are, out of this 8558, about over 8 million of them have been validated by NIMSI. And then we don't want to feature the enrolled data, because it's something that we do collaboratively with, it's beyond our purview for now, because it's a data that is in the server of the NIMSI. They have to now, so I don't want to give a figure now and then, okay, in Gambia you said, and we already cleaned one, you want to report us to the government. So I want to be careful. When you are doing partnerships, sometimes you have to be careful when you are dealing with partners, more especially when you don't have control over some of these outcomes. Like now, the NIN enrollment, even though it's done by our people, but it's in the server. Maybe now I report something and they say, no, it's not like that. That was the last week figure you are reporting. Why shouldn't you be updated? What if the presidency and start comparing from this week to last week and say we are not working? Malan Diko, you are reporting us. Well, this is just by the way. So this is where we are, and as a matter of fact, this is our key achievement: partnership and interoperability with National Identity Management Commission database for verification of harvested data. Sorry, don't read the "and." Enrollment of new NIN through State Operating Coordinating Unit registered as FEPs. FEPs here means front-end partners. And then procurement of 1,000 enrollment devices by government for SOCUS to do the registration referral, and then deployment of NIMSI accredited front-end partners to complement the SOCUS, just like I told you. And from April 2025 to date, over 8,187,832 households were updated with NIM out of the 19,708 households in the NSR, and the integration is still ongoing. The household Joe coordinates are also updated. One of our key success is all this, the 18 million that you see, apart from the NIM, we also update their Joe coordinates. So this will give, easy access to programs. You don't need to come. By the time you mine with the Joe coordinates, you can visit the households. And then even the CSOs and, constructive critics, constructive critics will say, no, this register is for that party, this register is for this. But take it, go to the community, even without us, with the Joe coordinates, you can it's just like your Google map. With it, you can visit each of these households to see whether they exist or not. And with their NIM, you can be able to verify that, yes, this payment is made to a person, not to a ghost. And then with the digital payment, you will be able to verify that, yes, the payment went to that person, not to my relatives. Then we are able to pay 8.1 million households. 8.1 million households have received at least one tranche of the cash transfer payment of 25 out of the 3 tranches through digital payment, account or wallet. The transfer package is 75,000 per household. And then as I stand before you now, I can confirm over 8.1 million have received this payment digitally, and all of them have NIM. So the issue of saying it's a political register, or I don't think even one political party may, I don't know, I don't want to go there, but I think nobody will criticize the issue of bringing the issue of duplication, the issue of we don't know who you are paying. All these have been answered and addressed. It's only for you to take the data, come to our office, take the sample. We don't even need to follow you. You can even go to the state level, take the data from the state social register, go to the field, verify whether they are there, verify if the households are there, verify if the individuals are there, verify if the accounts are also there. You have your means of verification, you can do that. So it's now an easy system for us. We know who we are paying. So it solves a lot of problem for us. Just like I said, this is the evolution. The National Social Register initially was intended, just like I told you, to serve the federal government cash transfer. And it's for 24 states, 2 million households, and then the targeted number on the registry is 5 million. But over time, we have, over time, the utilization of the register has extended to include broader social protection in programs by government agencies and donor partners, just like I told you, that list I show you. Then the NSR evolution and achievement position it for potential transformation into Nigerian social register. Why I say Nigerian social register is because the intention first was just at the national level. But now it's becoming a Nigerian social register where it covers all the sectors. The local government, the state can use the register not only for cash transfer as intended initially, but it's becoming a Nigerian-owned register at all levels, and then can be used for broader social protection interventions. So this is our next steps. We are looking at enhancing data interoperability. The initiative will link the NSR with key national identifiers with other data quality features such as, now we have the effort of linking the registry with national identity number and then the geo coordinates. We are just looking at how we are talking with UNICEF now on how we can also link the National Social Register with birth registration, the civic register, so that, it will be a whole life cycle approach. Once you capture somebody at birth, you can be able to track him throughout his life cycle. So we are working with UNICEF and then to see, and then the National Population Commission, who are the custodian of the civic registers. So in Nigeria now, we have only two foundational IDs, the National Identification Number and then the birth registration. These are the two. All other IDs are secondary. Your passport number, your office ID, everything is secondary ID. The foundation is the NIN. So whatever you go, if I go now for my international passport, they will ask me for my NIN. If I go for my bank account, they will ask me for my VIN. Even your BVN relies on your NIN. So it's a foundational ID and then the birth certificate. Then we are looking at data advocacy, campaigns to leverage data to inform policy decisions and program design and implementation. And here we are looking at not only the cash transfer. There should be graduation approach and linkage between, programs. Now we are targeting 15 million households. After giving them 75,000, what happens? Do we allow them to fall back to poverty? And then have we done anything? If we allow them, the man that stood before me said the cash transfer is to smoothen consumption. If you smoothen their consumption and then give them the learning, and then the money is finished, what happens? So there should be linkages between our transfers. The cash transfer, then you raise them. These 15 million, don't allow them to fall. Graduate them to something like conditional cash transfer with co-responsibility. If your child goes to school, you will continue getting additional maybe 5 or 25,000, making a package of 50. If your wife attends antenatal, you will also have additional 25,000. If you have PW that are doing work in the community, you link them to some. It depends on the state specific. You ask the states or the regions to choose which core responsibility do they want to key in. Some will say health, some will say education, and then you go back to the community and say, okay, you are now collecting 25,000. We are giving you additional 25,000 for the next 3 months or for the next 6 months. And this depends on your child attending school. This depends on your wife attending antenatal. So these are core responsibilities that will be attached to conditions, will now be attached to the cash transfers. But don't leave them as it is. After the core responsibility, what happens? Graduate them to livelihood. By you training, you are already training them on savings, you are training them on what, certain trades and what have you that they choose. Then you now graduate them to livelihood, give them grants so that they can start livelihood of their choice. And then the same 15 million, don't allow them to fall back. Link them. By them they have, if it is animal fattening, he have 5, 6 animal fat. He can sell, buy, bring SME. Introduce him to loan now. And say, okay, all these small scale loan that you are giving to, we don't know. Now, these are our people that we know. They have ID, they have coordinate, they have businesses. Give them the loan. And their collateral is, maybe you give conditions and what have you. Then you give them the loan. By doing so, the graduation approach will now help our people graduate out of poverty. But if you only give them the cash transfer and allow them, some of them, whatever training you give them, whatever learnings you give them, they will still fall back to poverty. But if you maintain the graduation approach, you will now lift this 15 million. And then additional 15 million now will come into the cash transfer. It will become a cycle. You will become like China. One day you will come and say, okay, we have graduated all our people out of poverty. But if there is no linkage, just like we are now coordinating and linking our coordination system, our registries, our data fragmentations are becoming minimal now. And by doing so, if we extend it to all these our programs, let it be a graduation approach, not just in segregation. People, okay, UNICEF is doing cash transfer, ECOWAS is doing, I am doing. By the time we finish the transfer, the data ends up in my laptop. It's not integrated into the NSR. And these people are deprived from additional incentive from government. So there should be leakage. Intentionally, there should be a linkage. And then we also have to look at enhance our targeting mechanism. Like I told you, the community-based targeting has some deficiency. Yeah, it has, because as at 2016, any community we visit and do the CBT process, and all these people that are brought into the register are there as at today. You know, there is no entry point for additional people. It's rigid because it's a program. But now we have to do a second thought when COVID happened to bring in this RRR and then rapid response targeting using technology. And those 7 million that we registered, after we give them we administer the intervention, you know, they are rigid also. There are no other means of coming into the register. Well, we should be flexible and intentional. Sometimes, you know, we talk only of poverty, but vulnerability is now the question. Everybody is vulnerable. For example, now we are talking about adaptive social protection. What if there is a flood in a high-brow community? It depends on who and what intervention you need. If there is a flood, maybe to a rich man, it's just the information to tell him that there will be flood, early warning by Tuesday in your community. He has the powers, he has the money. Maybe he even have another house somewhere that he can pick his family and leave that area before the flood comes. But there is somebody there that even if you keep telling him, it is the last minute, he has no powers to move his family. You have to now design an intentional program for him. If it is cash transfer, give him cash transfer plus so that he can live. And then from there, don't leave him. Follow him. After that, are you also going, this flood is seasonal. What government? We should be deliberate in resettling our people. Resettlement and housing is also part of social protection, not only for government workers because you can access mortgage. What of the informal sector? What of this poor man that is living along the river that always floats? We know it floats every year. The only thing we do is we show it on TV, that we float in this, we float in that. But what efforts are we making to relocate these people or to assist them to relocate? Even if they are seasonal fishermen, by so time, come to your community, come to this area, do your fishing, but once it is during flood, migrate to where your resettled community is. So we should be concerted, map out our disasters, map out our risks, and then map interventions based on the needs. And then, you know, there are some also the climate side. You hear about it when they come to discuss about this adaptive social protection. Let me not preempt whoever is presenting the adaptive, because it sometimes moves me when I'm thinking of social protection, not only in Nigeria, but in the entire Africa. We have to. It's good that our governments are waking up now. Our government are realizing the importance of social safety nets, the importance of social protections now. So if we are deliberate, maybe 10 years, 20 years, we will be where we are. Then, just like I said, the targeting, technology-based, we have to use SMS blast, web registration, provide online platforms, even walk-in centers. Who said I cannot go to a social protection office and say, okay, I am poor, I want to register. Being in the register doesn't mean you have to get intervention, but you are identified for the intervention that suits you. Being in the register doesn't mean you are an automatic beneficiary of the cash transfer, because every program comes with its own criteria. If you don't fit into the criteria, you don't get the intervention. So this is also part of the communication strategy we should take to our people. Because I sometimes suffer it. When I go to the communities, they will even call me Ole. You know Ole? Barao. Thief. Yes, because his neighbor is getting. He is not getting. And I am the one that came and put him in the register. My communication team didn't tell him that being in the register doesn't mean automatically you are getting cash transfer. Oh, you come, yeah, it's selective. Because I'm this party. No, No, it's not because, it's because he doesn't like me. Even the day they came, I saw the way he's looking at me. You know how our local people can interpret things. So we have to be up and doing in our communication strategies. Tell them, tell them who is the communication expert in the social protection house. So tell them that being in the register doesn't mean automatic intervention. It means government is planning for any intervention that is due for you. Tell them so that they will not go and call my friend a thief too. So who said we cannot do work in centers so that people can come, be identified and kept in the register, so that when programs come, they can now access. I'll be sitting in my house, I'll come and tell you, yes, I'm retired now, and my salary is not enough. If there is any program, okay, give me your details. You put me in the register. When there are big programs that has to do with consultancies, oh, Mr. Diko is there. Let me see if he can fit into ECOWAS. I'm not saying it, I'm already working, but it's an example. So, yeah, just an example. Okay, let's look at, among all these interventions, where does he fit in? I'm sitting in my house, I don't even know. I'll start see a message in my mail that, okay, you have been activated into a livelihood program or so program. Please avail yourself for in-person, or our people are coming to visit you for to update, to see whether what you told us is true, because we want to take further information on you. They will come, ask me questions, do the needful. If I fit into it, I don't need to, these are the systems we are envisaging for our people. These are the systems we are thinking for our people. Without even going to them, let them come, tell us. And we must integrate all this data that we put in our laptops, that we keep in our offices, that the women affairs, no, it's only for women affairs. It's only for men affairs. It's only for youth affairs. All these data, let's bring them out. Integrate them into the social register. We develop a tool that will integrate this tool. Let the register be central. And let's have a policy that will say, whoever is doing intervention, even private sector and individuals, must mine from our social registers. We have a planning tool, and we know where we are going, so that our people will have these benefits. But the way we are doing it now, there is a lot of coordination issues, a lot of data fragmentation, a lot of interest. I stand here. Without the register, if you give me intervention, the first thing that will come to my mind is my immediate family. Yes. And you say, okay, if we see anybody with DICO, we will not give him. I'll go to my village, and my next neighbor will be the first person, whether he qualifies or not. But when we have systems in place, it's the system that speaks. It's not about us. If you put your system in place, it's just like an example. There are countries you go. If you pass the traffic light, they don't need to stop you. By the time you go to renew your license, they will tell you on so date. They will even give the ticket to you. Because it's the system that is working. So if you put the system, a working system for our people, you don't need to go out and then start campaigning. They will even vote you whatever you do as a government. And even that, to me, when I talk to my audience, I tell them what I do is even divine. Apart from the monetary aspect, even God is rewarding me. That's why you will go doing this register. You will never hear there is an accident. You will never hear that somebody is attacked. Very minimal. Because you are doing God's work. God is divine. It's even divine. You are bringing in somebody in the rural area that doesn't have voice, he doesn't have, not identified, but now today you are bringing him for identification, and he will start getting benefits. The prayer, when he prays for you, when this alert comes into when he prays for you, this one is automatic. Even if you don't believe, if you don't have faith, whatever you believe in, if that man prays for you, it will happen. So we have to be deliberate. Boys, and as part of it, we have to now look at, we are trying to look at the flexibility. I'm just talking about the flexibility. The rigidity clause should be removed in terms of our expansion when we are expanding the register, so that we deploy the rapid response register framework for categorical targeting and for response to emergency, and then secondary data integration using the NASCO data integration protocol. And then we are looking for continuous update and expansion, leveraging on collaborations for both horizontal and vertical updates on regular basis. This will ensure that poverty dynamics and emerging vulnerabilities are there, ensuring that interventions remain relevant and no one is left behind. This is the conclusion. The National Social Register has made significant progress since its inception, with achievement in alignment with national databases, financial inclusion, and then we are working on the adaptive social protection platform. I think tomorrow somebody will present, and I'll have some questions and contributions on that. And then as the NSR continues to evolve, it's essential to address challenges in coverage and targeting. Because we covered all the local government doesn't mean we have covered all the wards. Doesn't mean we have covered all our communities in Nigeria. That's why when you said Gambia have 100% coverage, I clapped. Because the coverage is not only about covering the states, it's not about covering the local government, but it's about covering the individuals and then covering the households. Just recently, the World Bank is saying 136 million Nigerians out of the over 2 million are poor. And the register is saying 70 million. Can I stand before you and say I've achieved coverage? I have not, because it's not even half or up to half of the coverage in terms of the index we have in terms of poverty in Nigeria. Maybe it's because we have larger population. It's easier for him to do it because of the population, but but this is our target, to achieve 100%. I congratulate Zambia for achieving the 30%. Please clap for the actors, the main actors. I'm happy to be here. This is one of the learnings I'll take back. I'll go and challenge my people. Say Gambia have achieved, ECOWAS, Gambia have achieved 100. The secretariat is in Abuja, so you have to put us through. I will discuss with you later. How did you do it? I'll discuss with you. Then the potential transformation of the NSR into Nigerian Social Register offer opportunities for expanded coverage and enhanced targeting, ultimately supporting broader social protection interventions. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bala. Do we have any questions or comments?
No, they understand what I'm saying. So let me have file on paper so that I don't miss. If you know you are wearing uniform, don't collect the mic, because we are in this business together. All those in the social protection, if you know you are wearing this, don't collect the mic, because we are in it together.
Thank you so much, and I want to be very brief. And thank you for the presentation. I didn't know that Nigeria is just less than 8 million. What I know about Nigeria is over 200 million. But what is in the registry, according to your presentation, is about 8 million. That can be discussed. But 3-4 issues that I want to bring into your attention. My understanding of a social registry is data that is kept in a place so that any program that comes can pick the data. I'm having the assumption what we do in Kenya. We have a very categorical registry, but programming, intervention is picked by either a partner or maybe you want to explain why is it that, because from your presentation, it looks like the registry is the one also doing the intervention. Maybe I didn't get that right. You might want to explain that. Secondly, funding. Are all cash transfer programs in your government donor funded? And if so, what is the portion of the government in terms of doing cash transfer to its population? The third one is about the ID cards. I got you right that now you are doing matching, harvesting vis-a-vis, making sure that they pair. What is the experience you have in terms of outriders? Those who are not having IDs are in the program, those without IDs outside, and the rest. What is the experience you have? You talked something about graduation approach. A very good approach, especially in cash transfer programming, because cash transfer alone is not sustainable in the long run, but complementary programming also supports cash transfer. What type of graduation approaches are you having? There's a conference we are learning for one another. What are they that you are having in your country? What complementary programming that you are having for the country? Then there is an issue that I wanted you to also address. Targeting vis-a-vis universal social protection. We know that targeting cash transfer programs has a lot of challenges. And as we are moving towards leaving no one behind, universal social protection is taking center stage in terms of making sure that you don't leave anyone behind. You are still advocating for targeting. Maybe you'll want to explain whether that approach is addressing you or not. Then there is an issue that I really needed your word on this: on-demand registration or continuous registration, which you call walk-in. How expensive is it in Nigeria? And because in where I come from, it's a fairly expensive affair, because the cost of bringing a new, updating the existing, and the rest is also very expensive. It's good, but it's also very expensive. And it's one of the best, of course, to keep the data as active as possible. What is your experience so that we can learn from Nigeria also, because it is good when we learn from you so that when we go back to our countries, we can be able to address the issues as they are. Thank you so much.
I think he has asked for everybody. No, it's just by the way. I'm just joking.
Should we go?
Yeah, go.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Dr. Vella. Torben Fischer from ID Insight. There were a lot of valid points that were also on my list that have just been raised. I just want to emphasize one or two of those. The first one being about sustainability. You spoke about the sort of like scale up of the cash transfer program, 3-month program intended to reach 15 million households, and the government proportion that is funded of the program is something that's really important. How are we thinking about the institutionalization of this within the broader social policy framework? And looking in particular at the fiscal space in Nigeria, how you see that as you considering scale as well. I think the other point was more of a question in terms of, one observation in terms of the government coordination that is required, and I want to sort of like comment that in the federal Nigerian system, being able to coordinate that from the local government area to the state, to the federal. And at the same time, I think there's important learnings in there in terms of where and how to center these efforts in creating public goods that can benefit sort of targeting and programming for the state, and the political mandate that is required for that, or the roadblocks that are also sort of encountered in that process. And I think the second perspective is sort of like around that transition. You spoke a lot about the integration of IDs, but how did you manage the register when there was no unique IDs? Because I think that is also something that might exist in some contexts, might exist in the context of the Gambia in particular. So very keen to hear on those two elements.
What was the last?
How you basically managed the social register when it wasn't connected to the national IDs.
Okay.
And sort of the lessons that could be applicable to the context here.
It's okay. Well, thank you very much. Well, I thank you very much for the questions, and it's going to be interactive. Somehow I'll throw it back to my host. So get ready to answer some. I hope you have jotted the questions. Well, for the registry, what I said is the 8.1 was what we were able to update and then pay with NIN. But the broader registry is having about 19 million. I think if I can go back, the broader registry is having about 19 million. So it's out of this 19 million that we were able to update about and pay 8.1 billion. And the data, yes, is kept in one place, and we don't do intervention. That's why I said we have what we call the data mining protocols. When we started, it started as a World Bank project, finance project, and the intention was just to service, you know, if you go to the PIM, Project Implementation Manual of most projects, you will see they have logical frameworks, and then within the logical frameworks, you will see what are the targets. We call the targets from the baseline targets and then milestones and what have you. So the target and design of the program based on the logical framework and then based on the indicators is for us to cover 5 million households and then to give cash transfer for only 2 million households. But this is what we end up with. Prudent management of resources. So when they gave us, the whole design was to achieve that. That was the first phase, NAPS I mean, from 2016 to 2022. As of today, this is where the register stood. And then NAPS SU is not adding anything to this. We are updating the register with the scale-up project. We have to go back and retrace. And out of this 19 million, we are being able to visit where is that? Okay, to visit about 8,538 household, 966, which is almost close to half or more than half of what we have in the register. And then this 18 million is what we verified with NIN. And then we were able, out of these 8.5 households, we are able to pay 8.1 million households. But NAPS SU, that is the name of the project, is designed with 2 PIUs, project implementation units. We have the National NASCO, where I work, National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office, and then we have the National Cash Transfer Office. So is the national cash transfer based on this proxy means test, just like what this project, NAPA, is it NAPA? Is mining from their register. That's how the National Cash Transfer Office are mining from the register, based on their criteria using proxy mean test. But over time, other donor partners grow interest in the register and started mining. to do other interventions. That's why we have other interventions of about 11, I think we have about 11, this one. So apart from, this is the national cash transfer. Apart from it, we have others that are using the register. But they come to us with their own criteria. We want to do like UN Women COVID-19 intervention, like the UNDP COVID-19 intervention. They came with their criteria. We need households with so. And it's based on that that we mine the data and give them. How they implement their M&Es, every program has its own specific implementation arrangement. So we don't, even the cash transfer. So one unique thing is, if we go to the household, if they have account number, we collect. If they don't, we register them. We now mine the data if it has NIN and give it to the cash transfer. With or without account, it's the responsibility of the cash transfer office to open accounts for those that don't have in the register. But we do feedback. When they make the payment, they have to now feedback so that we update our register with the missing variables. That's the cash transfer. That's the account number, sorry. So there is exchange, feedback between us in terms of updating the register. And then one other critical, lessons that we learned over time is when we started building the register, people don't take us serious. If you go to engagement and ask their names, they give you their nicknames. Say Hajia Fati that is selling food. In Hausa they will say Mamam Fati Metuo. And that's how they will repeat. Abubakar Carpenter, Ibrahim Driver. Yes, that's how they will write it on the register. They don't care. And then we don't look at it from that perspective. We are just building, our target is just to get the 5 million, and there is no, and then even as at then, the national, it was there for us to capture the need. But the National Identity Commission don't have enough capacity, storage capacity, and another one to cover as much as that time. There are teaching issues, unlike before when they have interventions now to have expand their scope in terms of coverage and what have you. So there are limitations. So we go with other IDs. If you have your voter's card, we collect, we do that. But some will just give you nicknames. That's why now, when we go back to the households, we have to do some fuzzy matching. Because for those of us who are in Nigeria now, you can see Muhammad spelled in so many ways. He is my namesake, but the way he spell his name is different from mine. Some will spell my name putting U, but when you go to the system and put Muhammad with O or with U, it will read as different person. So we have to do some fuzzies, domesticate it. Okay, Abubakar, there are some Abubakar that can be a Sadiq. If the fuzzy is, if the man comes with Abubakar Sadiq or additional name and what have you, you have to now look at, do some fuzzy matching on the names. Fati means Fatima, Ibrahim, if it is Abraham, if it is all these things, you have to domesticate it to your cultural names to some extent. If not, the computer will exclude so many people. Because by the time I come for Nin, she said she's Fatih Ibrahim or Fatima Ibrahim. And now I come to the register, it's Fatih Metuo. Will the system accept that is this person? It will not. So there are some fuzzy matchings that you have to do before you now accept the one that is coming from their IDs. That's why even when we are talking with UNICEF, the referral will also include those people without birth certificates. Just like we are doing NIN. If we go to the community, if you said you don't have birth certificate, we'll refer you. We'll make a system where we'll work with National Population Commission to now bring in the registration close to their door. So that if you mention a date of birth, it will be there and then recorded. Referral too, in terms of so when you are adopting, you should look at how you can extend it to make it easier for our people to make, have their own birth certificates, even those that are adults and adolescents, apart from the new ones. So this is what we are thinking of when we are doing the referral, including this. So let me go back to the questions. Then the funding. Basically, the funding, most of the funding is coming from the donor partners. But, sometimes the government will tell you, I stand here, I've been working for the government, is paying my salary, and I'm working in this project. So is it not a contribution? Yes. It's personal contribution to the project. And if you go to the state, the state governor will tell you, what is your contribution, Your Excellency? They say, the staff I deployed, I would have left them in their ministries. Now that they are working in the project, am I not? And then they give offices. The office I'm staying is the office of the government. The government gives the accommodation offices. So no donor agency is paying for rent for the offices we are working in. No donor agencies is paying for the staff personnel training, no, not the recruitment and what have you, and the salary, particularly personnel and office equipment. These are the contributions that government do. But in the budget, sometimes they give you operating cost. They say, okay, you are there in the bucket as a part of the ministry. Sometimes when there is money, they will give you some certain amount. It's budgeted there, but sometimes, you do budget and accessing the funds may become a problem, but it's there. Then the ID card, and the ID card is, I don't know, the ID, what was, you talk about the ID. I
think you included it.
Okay. Then the graduation approach. The graduation approach that we have, when we were implementing NAPS, what we did was we pilot what we call conditional cash transfer and livelihood in 9 states. It's just a pilot. And we look at, how this 2 million in the first phase can be now graduate to have cash transfer. So the 9 states selected their core responsibilities. Some will say, okay, it's education. Some will say it's health. Some will say it's environment, agriculture, and what have you. So, all these are tailored toward multidimensional poverty angle. We are moving toward multidimensional poverty angle because education now, your child must attend. It's not only attending, but it's not only enrollment, but attending. What percentage of attendance did he attend before you qualify for the next conditional cash transfer? So it's now lifting from cash transfer to conditional. We are putting condition before we add something to your package. So this is designed alongside the NAPS SU, but in this current project, we don't have that budget for it because it's a shock response cash transfer because of the removal of fuel subsidy, and then the COVID and what have you, and then the Naira policy in Nigeria. I think you are all aware of it, and this has caused a little shock within the country. So the government seemed it necessary just to go for 1 year cash transfer for 15 million instead of 10.2. And then as it is now, we are talking about designing a project, a government project. The government have peak interest, and I think we are working on see how we can bring in government institutionalized funding into social protection system. But I am happy for you. You have solved one big problem for us that I will take back home, the coordination aspect. Because for me, we are having this coordination problem. Because it's not a problem, quite all right, but I have seen a model where the social protection is placed in the vice president's office, and I can see the number of ministers that came in with the vice president. This is a summoning power. If it were only your minister, some of them will be busy somewhere. Yes, they say, he's a minister, I'm a minister, sorry to say. But when you say it's the president that is calling, or it's the vice president that is calling, whatever is, and then in my country, the vice president is also the chairman of the National Executive Council, where all the governors of the 37 states are members. So he chaired that council. You see how powerful, and then how powerful he is. If you want to talk to the governors, he can talk to them through this medium. These are the coordination, that we need in social protection, so that, we can bring in the major actors. When we say, okay, women affairs, let's look at all the data that are segregated in all bring them. It's just a matter of sending from the vice president's office that everybody that is housing any data should forward it to so. And you'll see it happening. Rather than, okay, a minister telling to a minister, bring your data. Say, no, this is my data, it's for my, there are some. So the coordination, I'm happy, congratulations Gambia for solving this coordination issue. And then you can move to the next step by doing this data integration and see how you can bring all your data into the National Social Registry, and then you move forward. Then I think the targeting, on-demand targeting is very expensive, quite all right. Social protection itself is very expensive. So we have to be deliberate. It's political will. If we really want to do it, we have to have the political will. The political will has to be there. And I am happy that most countries are waking up to their responsibility by imbibing, social protection concept into governance nowadays. Almost every country now is up and doing. I don't know, but I can see from ECOWAS report, no nation is left behind in the soft region. And I believe they are linking with also the AU, and then the fundings are available. So if our government are awakened to the responsibility and consider social protection as a priority, they can budget for it. Just like we are budgeting for education, we are budgeting. Even the education itself, health, the only thing is how to tell that you are doing. Because even the education intervention, health intervention, because the way we are doing it in segmented and fragmented manner, that's why we don't look at it as if we are doing social protection. Yes, but if it is well coordinated, even the ministries, what they will be doing will be minimal, because most of the work will be done by social protection. Because we have to take it multidimensional method approach, we have to do it adaptive social protection approach, data-driven, and then sectoral approach. When we have all this, we have answers. Even all the other sectors, the fragmentation will be minimal. Everybody will now say, okay, we are channeling certain percentage of our budget to social protection, because social protection is doing most of what we want to do. So, and then the on-demand registration, we are not doing it in Nigeria, quite all right. We are not doing it. We are only doing the community-based targeting, and then we are only doing the technology, the RRR. This is where we are. What I'm telling you is, if I'm allowed to discuss and then bring in proposals for the government, is one of the things I'm looking at, because it's all about inclusion. We want to minimize the exclusion, and we want to look at social protection beyond poverty to vulnerability, because the issue is, if you are looking of poverty, is poorest of the poor, but vulnerability is instant. It's just one thing will make you fall into poverty. All of us are on the line. No one is safe. Yes, so we have to discuss it from the vulnerability perspective. Yeah, we have the poor people. We are doing the social safety nets for them. But we have to now graduate to start looking at vulnerability. With the what-if situations, there are a lot of things. We are happy in Africa there is no earthquake, there is no all these challenges, disaster challenge, but we can still map our own challenges to possible interventions, and then we map it to possible locations, and then be ready, waiting for it. Because if you don't know your problem, you cannot have solution for it. Don't wait for it to happen before you act. Then the issue of sustainability is about legislation, creating budgets and what have you. But if you depend mostly on, donor partners, the issue of sustainability will not be there, except you create, budgetary and then give, legal backing by creating acts beyond policies to act. I'm happy we already have a social protection agency in Gambia. We also have social investment program agency in Nigeria. Yes, but we are also, So the government budget proportion, I've already discussed it. Institutionalization, I think institutionalization goes with sustainability. If you have the appropriate laws in place, you have the appropriate budgets in place, you will not be, you have already institutionalized the agencies. And then the coordination, I think I have said something about coordination. I'm even congratulating Gambia. This is one of the lessons I will take home. And pray for me so that they will have the listening here. I will use the medium you use. I can see the ECOWAS medium is working. So we'll take that. And then the lessons on the NIN, just one that I told you. You are registered now. Go and check it. The names, you'll be surprised when you come to do the NIN update. You see people coming with their real names, telling you their real names. You will see some people having 2 accounts, 3 accounts. But because of, he will go to one province, register, open with another account, but you don't have a means of, checking, verifying. He will just check the surname, and before you know it, you will be paying him triple, double. But with this NIN integration, I think everybody will be carried along. I don't know. I can't exhaust all the questions, and we have kept so many people waiting. I talk too much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bala. Very, very detailed presentation. Okay, so that brings us to the final presentation for day 1. So as we are about to wrap up day 1 and prepare for day 2, is Mr. Philly Suso around? Yes, Mr. Philly, please join us on stage. So I'm sure you've heard multiple times people talking about the Gambia achieving 100% social registry. Mr. Philly Suso is the director of the Gambia Social Registry. So I think Mr. Philly Suso deserves a round of applause. And Mr. Suso will just run us through the activities for tomorrow. And then after that, we will officially close for day 1. Can you use this mic or you want to use this one?
I can use it anyway. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Samuel. Distinguished participants, our guests from Kenya, Nigeria, and all the other countries that are present here. As we wrap up day 2 today, a very rich day, we will all agree. I think I will invite all of you to give a round of applause to our resource persons who have generously accepted to come here and share their valuable knowledge with all of us. Please. Thank you very much. So as we close today, the aim is to build on the momentum that we have set today to take that even higher. And day 2 tomorrow, I'm very sure you have seen the program. Promises a very practical, but also solution-focused sessions that all of us should be looking forward to. We will begin the day with some powerful plenaries that bring both global and local solutions and ideas and experiences to the hearts of all of us here present. So if you look at the sessions, we will begin with a deep dive on the nexus that is there between human capital and social protection, how social protection contributes to the human capital development, and this will be led by Mrs. Aminata Bahwan Traore. This session also should give us ideas about how we should finance in a long term social protection interventions, especially how we build resilience of the poor and vulnerable in Africa. So Mrs. Bahwan Traore, a very seasoned social protection specialist from the African Development Bank, will lead this session. Then we will move into a real case study right here in the Gambia on disaster risk financing. This session will be led by a very passionate individual, and you will all attest to this tomorrow when he presents, Mr. Maudo Amadou Diallo, who will speak to how the Gambia has designed its disaster risk financing and how that is being implemented. This session, we hope, should provide inspiration to other people, especially our international guests, on solutions that we can start thinking of in our respective countries. We will also then move to a presentation on a topic that is emerging in the social protection landscape, adaptive social protection. We will have this led by Dr. Anne Hilger of the World Bank and Mr. Malik Njai, the Deputy Country Director of World Food Programme. So this session is going to be a hybrid session, and Hilger will join us from New York, while Deputy Country Director Malik Njai will be with us here in the room. So they will do the presentation together, and this should be very interesting for everyone, given the critical nature or the increasing frequency and intensity of shocks, whether these are natural, whether these are climate-induced or economic crisis that we all face. I don't want to say what adaptive social protection is so that it doesn't preempt the presentation tomorrow, but this is something that is critical as countries face increasing shocks. And then we will move to look at, there were a lot of questions today after the presentation on the NAFA cash transfer. How updated is the data? How are we sure that we are targeting the right people? So there will be a presentation by ID Insight, by the head of ID Insight from Dakar. Mr. Tobin will lead this presentation, and it's specifically going to tell us how data can refine targeting through PMT. Most often, PMT is criticized for not being accurate, but this approach has been piloted in Kenya by ID Insight, and Mr. Tobin from ID Insight is going to share that experience with us. And lastly, on the plenaries, we will look at the how mobile money has revolutionized service delivery, especially cash transfer in Kenya. Kenya stands tall among countries in terms of their experience in mobile money payments to over 4 million individuals. You can imagine how they do that. And Mr. Peter Ombasa will help us deliver that presentation. And it should give us real actionable insights on how we can adapt and apply digital payments in our country. It brings a lot of cost advantages in terms of the administrative cost associated with digital payments. I think the highlight of the day will come in the afternoon when we will have breakout sessions. And so we will have parallel breakout sessions, and the first one will tackle health insurance towards universal health coverage, how health insurance is going to help us to increase coverage and ensure that we leave no one behind. And this, as the other breakout session, will take the following format. We'll have a presentation, and then we'll have the presenter and some other people sit in a panel to take questions, both from the moderator and the audience. The paper presentation will be led by Mr. Jibril Baji, from the Director of Planning at the Ministry of Health, and then he will be joined in the panel by representatives of the Ministry of Gender, the Gambia Federation of the Disabled, and a few others. And in session B, we'll look at gender, children, and disability inclusive social protection with powerful voices of UNICEF. You can imagine how passionate UNICEF is talking about children's issues, how UNFPA is passionate about talking about gender issues. So we will listen to a presentation by UNFPA, and then they will be joined in a panel by UNICEF, the Ministry of Gender, and a representative of the Gambia Federation of the Disabled. So these sessions are about real solutions, solutions that we are looking for to expand coverage and reach the most vulnerable in our different countries. So we hope that we will all take it seriously and come. So as we go home today, take rest, reflect on whatever we have said here, and come back with a new energy, you bring your ideas, and we see how they unfolds tomorrow. We want to thank you today for your contributions. It's been a fantastic day, and we just hope that we'll all come back tomorrow refreshed to continue the momentum that we have set today. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Suso, and thank you all for coming today. So that brings us to a wrap for day one. I'd just like to plead with all of you to come on time tomorrow. As you see, we have a lot planned so that tomorrow we can end earlier as well. All right, thank you all, and see you tomorrow.